老娘出街啦！你出街啦你！會死啦你！你出街啦！報警！死啦你！出街啊！死啦你！你出街啦！其實我最中意佢諗嘅，俾人睇下得人樣啦，俾人睇下個樣喎，俾人睇下個樣，俾人睇下個樣啦，睇下個樣，你睇下個樣，睇下個樣。你試下，你試下你。你唔過嚟嘅，你冇咩問題，冇咩事。你過嚟俾人啦。睇下個樣，大家睇下個樣。打頭啊！你打的，唔係你呢個臭閪啦，拉你都唔開啦。得啦，你打得啦。打啦，拉人報警，係拉你開，拉人。拉你個臭閪啦！點啊啦？我。
On the screen, you see two women fighting violently in the street, not caring about anything around them. But what you don't know is that these two were best friends for 20 years. That's right, 20 years of friendship. Since childhood, they played together, grew up side by side, went to the same school. So, what happened to turn that friendship into pure hatred? Let me tell you this shocking story. If you enjoy this kind of content, leave a like to support me. Ayun looks at an old photo and says, "Is that me? What is this?" Her friend answers, "Yes, you two were really close back then." But now Ayun is so numb with rage that she can't even curse. That person. I have nothing left to say, she mutters. Then she bursts out, this is a double betrayal. The two women fighting are Ayun and Afay. Ayun is the betrayed wife, and Afay is the friend who betrayed her. But it gets worse. Afay also knew Ayun's husband, Adong, for over 10 years. They were all classmates. When Ayun got married, Afay was her bridesmaid, giving her heartfelt blessings. Who could have imagined that years later, this same friend would destroy Ayun's marriage? The saying "watch out for your close friends" came true for her. That day, Adong told his wife, "I'll be working late tonight, I won't come home." Ayun looked at him and noticed something strange. Although he tried to act natural, there was a nervous excitement he couldn't hide. At that moment, Ayun felt a chill down her spine. She suspected he had another woman. After all, it had been months without intimacy. So she decided to follow him secretly. We need to follow him. He turned left, right. Ayun whispers while watching her husband leave. He went in there. He went in. Her heart races. Are you sure? Yes, sure, absolutely sure. And then her worst suspicion is confirmed. She sees her husband arrive at a rented apartment with a woman. From afar, she can't see who it is. Not knowing which apartment it is, she waits downstairs. All night. In the cold. Alone. The hours pass slowly, every minute feels like torture. The next morning, very early, Ayun is waiting at the exit. And then she sees them. The door opens and two people walk out together. When Ayun sees who the woman is, her world collapses. It's Afay. Her best friend of 20 years. The woman who stood beside her as a bridesmaid. Ayun freezes, unable to process what she's seeing. Then fury takes over. No. This can't be. Afay sees Ayun and turns pale. Hi. She stammers. But Ayun doesn't want explanations. What's going on? I'm calling the police. I'm dizzy. She remembers how Afay had comforted her in recent weeks, saying don't overthink and trust your husband. All lies. Seeing Afay's hypocritical face now fills her with uncontrollable rage and grief. And then it happens. Ayun, unable to contain herself, lunges at Afay. She grabs her by the hair and starts beating her furiously. You destroyed my life. 20 years of friendship. Afay tries to defend herself but is no match for Ayun's fury. She falls, tries to get up, but Ayun keeps hitting her. How could you do this to me? And during all this, something even more disturbing happens. Adong is standing there, watching. He doesn't help either of them, doesn't try to stop the fight, doesn't say a word. He just watches his wife beat his lover, occasionally making sarcastic comments, as if it were a show. Ayun shouts to the crowd gathering around. Do you know who this woman is? She's my best friend. 20 years. Then she points to Adong, and that's my husband. They betrayed me. People stop to watch, some record with their phones. Ayun continues. Afay got divorced and started working at a hotel. Adong began going there often. I thought it was because he got discounts. I never imagined my best friend would do this to me. Afei, on the ground, tries to explain, it's not what you think. He's my classmate, that's all. Ayun explodes. Classmate? You two walked out of an apartment at 6 in the morning, and you expect me to believe that? Afei insists, we just talked. Nothing happened. Ayun points to the building, that apartment. That's where you two meet. Adong rented it just for this. I waited all night. I saw you go in together last night and come out this morning. A man and a woman alone all night, and nothing happened. Some neighbors comment, oh, those two? We always see them coming and going together. Another adds, that's right. Almost every weekend. Afei tries to defend herself. Who saw me? Tell me. But witnesses confirm, I saw them leaving this morning. I've seen them several times before. With the evidence piling up, Ayun completely loses control. She pulls Afei's hair again and throws her to the ground with force. For 20 years I treated you like a sister, like family, and you do this to me. Her voice cracks, a mix of rage and heartbreak. All that betrayal turns into every punch, every pull of hair. Afei can only try to protect herself weakly, too helpless to fight back. Ayun turns to her husband, still standing there like nothing's happening. And you? Have nothing to say. Adong shrugs, indifferent. That coldness, that total lack of remorse, destroys Ayun even more. At that moment, she realizes she has lost both people she loved most. The marriage is over, the friendship is gone. 20 years built on lies. Ayun looks at Adong with disgust and says loudly for everyone to hear, this man isn't anything special. Average looks, average salary. I don't even know what you saw in him. Then she turns to Afei, you had admirers. Why did you have to destroy my marriage? Afei, on the ground, wipes blood from her nose. He just gave me a ride home once, that's all. Ayun laughs bitterly. Then why are you here so early? A neighbor steps in. This is his place, she's here all the time. Ayun feels vindicated. See? Everyone knows. Afei screams, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Call the police then. Adong finally breaks his silence and says calmly, go ahead, call. That indifference in his voice feels like a knife. Ayun realizes he doesn't care, isn't sorry, maybe even wants her to call, just to end things faster. The crowd starts judging Afei and Adong, turning the street into a moral courtroom. An old woman shakes her head, shameful. Betraying a friend like that, someone else mutters, 20 years of friendship, thrown away for a man who's not even worth it. Afei feels humiliated, not just by the beating, but by the public exposure of her betrayal. Adong remains impassive, as if none of it concerns him. Exhausted physically and emotionally, Ayun finally stops. She steps back, looking at the two with disgust and sorrow. You deserve each other, she says in a hoarse voice. In that moment, as she sees her husband watching coldly while she beats her best friend, Ayun realizes just how cold people can be. 20 years of friendship, years of marriage, all destroyed by cowardly betrayal. In the end, Ayun chose divorce, letting her friend have the husband completely. This video ends here. What do you think about this story? Everyone is welcome to share their thoughts in the comments below.
Funny how people always think they know who their real friends are until life proves them wrong. Everyone loves to say they trust with their eyes closed, that decades-long friendships are forever, that love endures everything. Yeah, right. It endures until the first mistake, the first hidden message, the first poorly told lie. Ayun trusted, and her friend just waited for the perfect moment to strike. There was no spell, no accident, there was a choice. The choice of someone who thought she could play with other people's lives and walk away untouched. The most ironic part is watching the husband, the so-called family man, standing there with his arms crossed while two women fight over him like he's some kind of prize. The only smart thing he did was stay still, because any move would have made the obvious even clearer. He wasn't worth the fight. And deep down, neither of them won anything. One lost her marriage, the other got a man who's not worth having. Congratulations to both. But the public loves this kind of drama, people screaming, pulling hair, tears mixed with anger. Other people's misery is always the best form of entertainment. That's how life goes. The audience cheers, the comments split between those who understand the pain of the betrayed wife and those who say violence solves nothing. Meanwhile, the three main characters move on with their lives, each carrying their own shame, each pretending to be the victim. The truth is, nobody's innocent. Yun thought she knew her friend, but ignored the signs out of convenience. Faye pretended to be empathetic while carving a space in her friend's marriage. And the husband, well, he's the classic type who always has an excuse ready. Things just happened, as if cheating were an accident. And of course, there's always someone who'll say, these things happened because the relationship got cold, or the love just faded. Nonsense. It happens because some people have no boundaries and no shame. Worse yet, they still want to play the victim. Faye will call it emotional confusion. The husband will swear he never meant to hurt anyone, and the audience will keep pretending to be shocked as if they didn't see this same story yesterday, just with different names. In the end, what's really sad is that loyalty has become a rare quality, almost a luxury, and faithfulness, that one's out of production. Everyone talks about true friendship, but all it takes is a bit of loneliness and the wrong man around to test how true it really is. The moral here is simple. If your circle is small, keep it that way. If it's too big, someone's already waiting for your turn to fall. Maybe Yun's mistake was believing everyone had the same heart as hers, thinking kindness protects you, thinking smiles mean good intentions. Faye proved otherwise. Some people get close just to find your weak spot and they'll use it against you when the time's right. While she was hitting her friend, the whole street watched, some with pity, others with pleasure. Nobody stepped in, because deep down, everyone loves to watch the fire as long as it's not their house burning. And that's why stories like this keep happening. The names change, the faces change, the city changes, but the plot stays the same. Too much trust, the wrong people, regret coming too late. And here's the most ironic part. In the end, Yun got divorced, Faye stayed with the husband, and they probably swore this time it would be different. But who really believes something built on lies ends in peace? Life collects its debts, sooner or later. And when it does, there'll be no audience, no likes, no comments saying, "Stay strong, girl." There'll only be silence and the same emptiness they once left in the woman who simply trusted too much. Now, tell me, who's more to blame here? The friend who betrayed, the husband who lied, or the woman who believed? Drop your opinion in the comments. This one's going to spark debate. If you like the video, hit the like button, it helps the channel grow. And if you're new here, subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss the next story. Here, we tell it as it is: real stories, bitter endings, and truths most people prefer to ignore.